So we already got the exhaust pipe pulled off this bike. We're gonna go ahead and pull this exhaust bracket off that came with the other pipe. And then from there, we're gonna go ahead and start the installation of the new FAB28 blingy bling. So let's do it. Got the exhaust bracket here. We're gonna start by putting this on. Add a little Loctite to the bolts, the supplied hardware that it came with, and we're just gonna go ahead and pop this into place. One of the biggest things about installing exhaust pipes is making sure you're using anti-seize on stuff like this. Things that get hot in the metal stuff, it's just gonna basically weld itself together. So if you ever wanna remove these again, make sure to use anti-seize when you're putting it on. You just need a little dab because this shit will get everywhere. So one of the specialty tools you can use, I mean, you can get by with a wrench, but we like to use the right stuff around here, is this gym socket number 969. You can see right here, it's got a nice little slot, so that way you can put the wire into it when you're tightening down your O2 sensors. Go ahead and get that on there. Give our O2 sensor a nice little crank. You can even use these to do it on the bike, and it definitely helps a lot. You can grab this fancy tool from speed-kingcycle.com. Who would have thunk? So what I like to do before putting on our exhaust flanges is I like to take a zip tie, kind of get it up close up here, and zip tie around this area. That stops our exhaust flange from sliding down on the pipe. Just make sure you orientate it in a way where you can cut it off easily when it's on the bike. So, you know, these go to the back, put it at the front so you can kind of snip it off. So now when we put our exhaust flange on, it gets held up on that. So we're not worried about it sliding down and fucking up our finish. Now we'll go ahead and put our C-clip, and it'll lock into that ring right there. So boom, we got it in place. It's gonna slide on, it's gonna lock in perfectly plumb. One of the biggest things to check before installing your pipe is figuring out which gaskets your pipe takes. The FAB28s take the tapered gasket. We use Cometic gaskets because they fucking fit in just perfect. But some exhaust pipes also take a flat gasket, so make sure you get the right shit or else you're gonna have an exhaust leak. That's on you. We're gonna apply a little anti-seize to our exhaust studs because, well, anti-seize. We don't want them seizing up on us. You can get this shit at any hardware store or mechanic shop or AutoZone or wherever the fuck you got in your town. So now we got everything dialed in right here. We're gonna go ahead and start loosely fitting everything up. I'm sure somebody's got a better way, but I always like to take this handy dandy fish hook and yank my old exhaust gaskets out. Okay, never mind, there's none in there because they were already ripped out. So, but you can use this still. Didn't even notice that. These Cometics, the reason why we like to use them is because unlike Harley's exhaust gasket, is they're a tiny bit undersized. If you've messed with exhaust gaskets before, you know that the Harley one is super hard to put in. You end up smashing it, it's all fucked up, and you're just like, well, hopefully it'll make a good seal. These Cometics are slightly undersized from the port, so they slide right in. The downfall is they can also fall right out while you're installing the exhaust. So what I like to do is I just like to press it slightly and kind of egg shape it a little bit. And then it kind of keeps its spot. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of get these loosely fit into place. We're just loosely fitting these so that way we can kind of fit everything up all at one time, and then we're gonna go ahead and tighten everything down. So one of the things too I like to do about the mufflers, I like to put a little anti-seize in here as well. You don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. Put too much and it'll start spewing out. But if you ever take it apart, it definitely helps to have a little bit in there. So we'll just kind of get a little dab there, a little dab there. It gets real messy. Maybe use a glove. Probably would have been smarter, but I ain't that smart. I do Harleys. We went through and got everything tight. Now we're gonna go ahead and connect our O2 sensors back up. Now we got it all installed, we'll give it a good wipe down, do our best to get all of our fingerprints off of it. If you're smart like somebody else, you'd wear gloves when you do it. And also, don't forget to cut your zip ties off if you do that, because they will melt on there. We got this thing all dialed in, it's all installed. This is a fresh build, so we gotta do a couple little bit more things before we fire it up. But stay tuned, we're gonna have a sick sound clip of this monster going blah, 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 blah. Check it out.
Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime.
So nicely known, I can ride safely with RX2 laws behind my back.